Squat day rolls around again, and I even got a couple new shirts to demimify myself from the usual stuff that I always wear. Did solid work on squats. I feel like 70 kilos is starting to get comfortable in the sense that I was doing an extra rep from last time on the first set. I did 7, and then in the second one I did 6. What I usually do is kind of a ramp up to 2 main sets. So I'm doing about 5 or 6 reps with 40 kilos, then 50, then 60, and then I'm doing a couple of sets at 70. I'm thinking to progress these until I can do 2 sets of 8 maybe, and then go up in weight slightly, see how many I can do with that, and maybe stay in a range of 5 to 8, something like that. The main thing that is kind of stopping me from progressing too quickly is that I think I could do a few reps with 80 kilos, but I don't know how well my technique would look like. So I don't really mind going for slightly lower intensity if I can manage to keep my form as clean as possible. This is the second set where I did 6. And I was starting to notice that there was a little deviation from what the ideal form of the first set was. I was starting to lean forward a little bit. The bar was starting to kind of roll me forward. I noticed that even mid-set, and now as the reps go by, I noticed that they are not as crisp as the initial ones. Something that I've always noticed when I was doing squats, even back squats, is that I have a slight tendency on pushing the weight in the front of my foot, and having the heels elevated and the bar in front of me is not really helping that. But I'm also working on this, and I think overall it was good work. And as usual, I was supersetting the squat stuff with some hanging leg raises. I was having the usual 4 kilo dumbbell in between my feet. Wasn't really going as high as last time, I think. I stalled a little bit on that, but it's no big deal. So long as I can do a few sets above 10, maybe 12, I'm happy with that. I will be progressing this kind of slowly over time. And then I moved over to back extensions, superset with dumbbell upright rows. The back extensions, I was pushing for 3 sets, even though I recorded only 2, of 12 reps with an extra 20 kilos on my back. I'm thinking to stay within the 10 to 15 rep range and maybe do 2 to 3 sets, depending on how I feel after the squats. Was also trying to get a couple of different angles just to see if form is okay. It looks like the low back is nice and straight, and I'm not really going as far down because I still feel like sometimes I have a little annoyance in the piriformis from a few weeks ago. I haven't really been able to address this because in day-to-day life there's always situations in which I am bending down and maybe slightly arching my low back, and I feel that little devil tightening in disagreement. So each one of these situations kind of brings me back to a slightly inflamed status. And because I'm very aware of this kind of stuff, having dealt with the rotator cuff injury for half a year now, I am keen to prevent that from happening on a day-to-day life. It's hard because it takes time to adapt and move in a way that doesn't really piss that area off. But at least I'm glad to report that I wasn't really feeling any discomfort doing the dips, and I added an extra rep on top of what I was doing last week. I want to progress these as slowly as I can. I still feel like there is a bit of instability as I go up through the concentric from the bottom. And that is the main area where I want to spend most of my time when I'm doing these. I want to be able to teach the shoulder that position is safe to operate in. And if I can progress these from the 10 that I was doing on each set this week, maybe go up 1 rep each session. I'm doing 2 of these each working week, so go up to 20 maybe, and then see how the shoulder is and reevaluate if I want to put some weight on, let's see. And what I was supersetting on top of dips was what last week I tried to do in front lever raises. But of course, with my legs fully extended, it's something that I'm not really strong enough to do yet. So I thought that I would regress that to a variation where I keep my legs tucked in and then I raise the torso up as if I was preparing for a set of tuck rows. I know that I can do those because on tuck rows this is exactly what I do, and I was able to find a better angle to showcase that on this. Arms are not fully extended, but I will cut myself some slack because this is the first time that I do the exercise, and this is definitely more difficult than the dips. But because I am very cautious around how my right shoulder still feels, I want to be able to be as fresh as possible when I am going into this superset. So starting off with dips and then doing a few of these reps. Did 5 for 2 sets. Overall, I think that it was a good effort and it looked okay. Ciao.